Today I'm going to talk about the weapon Tempest, which is a shotgun. First with Senja, and then with Venomous. Then I'm briefly going to talk about the early compensation we received during that first week. That was pretty rough. Are you ready to start blasting like Schwarzenegger in the Terminator? Everyone's been saying that the weapon was worth trying, and they're absolutely correct. It's actually kind of amazing how powerful it is. The fastest I took down a boss at the end of a dungeon was just over 2 seconds. It was then that I realized that the Tempest was special. The weapon ability, Bullet Storm, consumes all locked and loaded charges and fires 2 rapid blasts per charge. That means you can potentially have 6 shots back to back, which equals melting the boss. Take a look. It's really annoying to miss though, so you need to practice. But that goes with a lot of abilities in this game. The ease of using this weapon and its overall power is fantastic. All my damage was from Tempest, and none of it was from Senja's abilities, which is including her ultimate, which I probably used less than 10 times. Overall, in one setting, I leveled up Senja's 3 levels and the weapon a total of 13 levels. I know you're going to ask me how long did it take, but I didn't really time it, especially because I'm constantly getting interrupted while making these videos. I started running Codex Halls, and then I moved to Undercroft. After some practice with the weapon, I was easily able to conquer a few hundred power levels above my rating. So back to Senja as the main character. I might have been a tad overzealous last week when I was talking about her. I still think the animations and the style are number 1 in my book. But while leveling Tempest, I noticed I didn't really use her character abilities, especially the 2 that increase her showboating meter. Honestly, the abilities aren't useful at all for leveling. I think it will be great for endgame and for harder encounters once she is maxed out, especially when you are with a planned party following a particular strategy. But after trying out someone like Venomous, whose abilities I was using all the time from level 1, I'm going to have to say that Senja's kit is really dependent on being in a group. I've decided to put Senja further down my list when it comes to planned playtime. If you're anything like me, I never have enough time as it is, but I think I will use those future experience scrolls on her whenever they are patched into the game. And I have a feeling when the game officially releases in 6 months, the character will be slightly reworked, or just maybe buffed. As it stands now, unless you have a great weapon, just using Senja's abilities is going to make her levels super slow. For example, her ultimate really needs a shorter cooldown. At most, I'm using it once a dungeon, playing by myself. It doesn't even do that much damage, so I'm not sure why it takes so long to use. Speaking of cooldowns, as a side rant, why are there no timers on the abilities? I would like to see a base time on all skills to get a general idea of how long it takes to wait for each one. Or maybe I'm blind and I'm not seeing it anywhere. Senja's other skill, Lightning Grasp, pulls all enemies towards Senja. This is actually fantastic if you're using a melee weapon. You can really time some abilities to hit them all at once. But if you're using a ranged weapon like Tempest, why would you pull the enemies to you? I mean, it's a shotgun, so it's better than a weapon used for single targets. Still, it's obviously better incorporated when you're always up close and personal with your tool of choice. So you have an ultimate you maybe use once a dungeon and another ability that doesn't complement ranged at all. Then Gladiator Pummel, which punches forward and showboats. Problem is, his damage is much too weak for the amount of time it takes. I almost think showboating in this instance should be changed to apply to some sort of AoE damage, or maybe an additional slow or other debuff. A disarm would be really cool, and then you would just have the monster staring at her while she showboats, which is kind of the point, right? Alternatively, if you just use Gladiator Pummel and it hits like a truck, then players would definitely use it more. Because again, the animation really adds to our character's personality in a way that is immediately obvious. Last but not least, positioning is really important in this game. Gladiator Pummel doesn't respect that at all. Especially when you are running solo all the time. We as a player want to be rewarded for slowing down or not attacking. But instead it's the opposite. Where the skill makes a sacrifice, not much is given in return. Moving on, I equipped Tempest with Venomous, and wow. It's night and day compared to Senja. I can rotate in her abilities while waiting for a reload or dodging away from a monster. For a solo player, I can already tell that leveling Venomous is going to be much more satisfying. She might not have great defenses out the gate, but she does get some self-healing, which again, puts more control into the player's hand, also letting you use more buttons, and more often. Honestly, she already feels complete to me. I read that Silo and Kairos do the most damage. Damage output is easily tweaked. All the Venomous abilities are usable, and you want to use them as soon as you get them, when they get off cooldown. They have particular effects which synergize with their whole kit, and when using them, you are trying to combine them in ways that are beneficial by themselves and with the weapon you're using. I was already using the ultimate twice as much as Senja, and I don't understand why that's okay, so maybe there's a bug involved with Senja's ultimate. Can't wait to get some more time to practice with Venomous and use all those moves. Let's quickly talk about that early access compensation. If you tried to log in at any point between August 17th and the 25th, then you are eligible for the compensation. I'm sure you already received it. One Wayfinder token to unlock any Wayfinder by itself, to me, would have been good enough. But on top of that, they give you 1,100 rune silver, which is roughly equal to $10. And some reward tower keys, which I don't really feel either way about. The keys are already kind of a grind, but the whole point of the game is to grind and everything, so I don't think they really wanted to give more out, as they're still hoping players will upgrade their early release packs to support the game, which does make sense. Overall, I am very satisfied with the compensation. What's next? Tell me what you all think about the game. Are you happy with the progress your characters have made? I haven't finished the main questline because I'm too busy trying out other characters and weapons, plus overall lack of playtime, but I can definitely see myself keep coming back to the game. I really like how it feels. Everything's mapped out in terms of new weapons and wayfinders planned down the road. Planning properly is such a huge step in the success of a game. I'm not worried about the development team at all, and I sincerely hope they are being rewarded extra on top of their normal salary for doing a fantastic job so far. Thanks for watching, and see you in the game.